Okay, in the next step we're going to mount the servos into the frames. Now the Heli Direct frames come with 3 holes in for mounting the servos. There's 3 holes in each bracket. The middle hole is for some servos that have just 1 hole on each servo tab. The outer holes are mainly for like HS56s or a servo that has 4 mounting screws in them. Okay, so now in the bag comes 6 of these pan head type screws. Let me show you what I mean by pan head. Looks like there's a washer built into them. Okay, like there's a washer. Now they only give you 6 of those. Those are used if you're going to mount the single hole screws, because the washer on the screw helps hold the servo down in a wider range. So if you've got single mount servos like HS65s or any single mount servos, use the ones with the pan heads. If you're using HS56s like what I'm going to be showing in this build, then you want to use the same screws that were used to hold the frames together, and that are these knurled Allen screws. Okay, so pan heads for the center, the knurled for the outside. So you'll need 12 of these if you're using HS56s, and only 6 of the center hole type screws. Okay, now on the HS56s there's these extra tabs on the servo, as you see. There's an extra tab here and an extra tab on the bottom. You're going to need to cut these off. So what I usually use is just a pair of side cutters and just go little by little, and go ahead and don't try and take it off in one fell swoop, because if you do, you might actually pop a hole in the case. So just do it a little by little, kind of like you're cutting with a pair of scissors, and eventually it will come off both sides. And then you can go ahead and do the bottom one too. I just don't like them. It doesn't need to be removed for this build, but I just like to remove them so it isn't sticking out. Okay, now the way you'll mount these is the output shaft of the servo goes down toward the bottom of the frame, and you'll mount them on the back side like this. So this output shaft servo arm will be in this slot here. This servo, again, output shaft down. This servo arm will move in this area, and then output shaft down, this servo arm will move in this area. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mount these with all the screws needed. Don't forget your Loctite. These are machine screws going into aluminum, so Loctite the screws in, and I'll mount these, come back, and we'll overview the servo installation. Okay, so the servos are mounted. Again, output shaft toward the bottom of the frame. We have the screws coming in from the back side with them mounted to the plates. Again, output shafts. So this servo goes here, this servo goes here, its arm moves here, pardon the wire, its arm will move here, this arm will move here, and the rear one will move here. So basically our servos are mounted with 4 screws each, 12 screws total, and that's basically how you mount the servos. In the next step we'll talk about putting the servo arms on, getting them at 90, and the best alignment for the head.